Hi guys. Hi guys, it's the Island Girl and I'm back with another one for you today. And today I'm checking out a video called American in London. Black American experience. So this young lady is going to talk about her experience living in London as an American, dating and so forth. So what's her personal experience? I'm kind of eager and excited to check this one out because I'm like, okay, she's black, she's living in the UK, and black Brits dating, etc. That's what she will be covering. And I'm like, okay, let me see it from her perspective, what it is there, because I've fallen in love with the UK and I can't wait to visit. I've seen and heard so many things, and I am enjoying every minute of this journey, just checking out and knowing about the place. Understand? And just living vicariously through other persons that have been reacting to their videos on here and videos that you guys have been sending my way. With all that said, come on and wrap back, put a smile on your face, and enjoy. To my regular schmeglers day one, sweetie pie, sweetie poos, come on in, wrap back, put a smile on your face, and enjoy. Don't forget to hit the video, give it a thumbs up, because it really helps the channel. That's how you guys help me. And it's free. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 100K. All right, without further ado, let's get into this video. Here we go now.
Just general, everyday, day-to-day run errands, just being around, going around in London, what that was like. I loved it. Everyone's familiar with people from all over the world. It's just very, very diverse in that way. Different languages, different foods, just different cultures. And so being an American, I don't think necessarily is something that's different. I think being an African American female, it catches people off guard a little bit in certain parts of London. I think, in some of the touristy places in central London, it's like, okay, whatever. But because I live there, obviously I would go to places that many tourists would not go. And so,
Okay.
Kind of going into a shop or something and someone, obviously, I look like this. They don't know how I speak my accent. And then starting to speak, then they realize I'm American. It would just always be quite funny because they're like, "Oh, you're from America," and then I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, what part? Oh my god, I always want to go there." And so it was kind of just I don't know. It was nice and welcoming, and then that led to kind of a bit of a chat. That wasn't all the time. There's been plenty of times you talk to people, they don't give a frick crack where you come from or what kind of accent that you have. But in those instances, it was nice. But yeah, I think for the most part, you get treated just as anyone else. I think for
Okay.
anyone who's looking to live or to visit in London, you don't really have to worry about some of the issues that you would in other areas. So I would say definitely go. You'll be welcomed. You'll be treated okay. Nothing to worry about there. Hey, so sorry about that, guys. I'm losing daylight and my camera was just making it way too dark. So I'm filming it on my iPhone. But anyway, next thing I want to talk about is, the African American experience interacting with other Blacks in Britain. So I guess Black Brits. And this was quite a unique experience for me. Just kind of give you guys a little history lesson. So I have, quite a few American viewers as well. So they may not be as knowledgeable about the makeup of Black Brits, but Black people in Britain tend to be either from the Caribbean or from some country in Africa. So
Okay.
most people that you meet, they'll be, first, second, third generation from those two areas. So a lot of times when you meet someone and you ask them where they're from, that's what they'll say. I would get in these conversations and right, it's normal. Say, hey, where are you from? And I would say, I'm from the States. America. And then they'd be like, oh, what part? From Oklahoma. Oh, okay. So where's your family from? They're from Oklahoma. Oh, okay, yeah, but where's your like family? What's your heritage? Where are they from? They're from Oklahoma. And it's like, um, so yeah, so it'd be like, oh yeah, they're from Oklahoma, and it's like, yeah, but no, like where really is your family from? And I'm like, I don't know what you're asking. What do you want me to say? And so I began to realize that for them, it would only be one of two answers. Either you be Caribbean or you would be from a country in Africa. And again, I would get a little frustrated at some point. I'm not going to lie, because I felt like my answer wasn't good enough. It wasn't sufficient. And
Ah,
I also felt like, well, the Caribbeans, didn't they kind of come the same way that we came? I just I didn't get that. So it was interesting, and that part I would say I didn't like so much. Trying to kind of justify how I can call myself an African American. Now, I'm not saying this was all Black Brits, but there was a fair share of them that I would have this exchange with.
so okay, so I kind of get where she's coming from with this. It's like you have to explain yourself which part within the black community that you're from when you're in in London when you meet up with another black person. That's what I'm getting from what she's saying. That's her experience, as she said. It's interesting that she has to pinpoint exactly where, because and I think it's an American thing too as well. When you meet another person that is of color, you be like, "Where you from?" And be like, "Oh, I'm from the Caribbean." And which Caribbean? You have. It's like they need certain details, and if you don't give it to them, it's like you're being side eyes. It's not enough for them. So I see where she's coming from with this, but that's pretty interesting as well, just to know.
And yeah, and I think it's just education on both sides in regards to African American history. Yes, it came from slavery, but we can't pinpoint exactly what our origins are. We know it's
Exactly.
Africa, obviously, but it's the same as Caribbean. Like, we all came on a boat together, maybe not together, but we all came on a boat.
I see where she's
So
going.
that was my experience with Black Brits. I think being an American, obviously there was certain shared experiences that I didn't have. And I think it would be the same as when Caribbean or Africans come over to the States, and how they don't really have a shared experience to African Americans. And so it allows you to see things in a different way, a different perspective, and understand that just because someone may look like you, it doesn't necessarily mean they have walked the path
The
that you've
same.
walked.
Yeah.
And just to be aware of that, and also not judge for those different experiences that we have, and be more accepting, and also don't take it for granted. So
Interesting.
that was kind of my experience with that. Dating in London as an African American female.
There we
So
go.
I personally, this was a whole new experience for me.
Okay.
I think on so many different levels. One, the dating culture is just different. If you haven't seen my video that I did on dating in the UK versus America, check that out. Also, I think dating kind of broadening my horizons a bit on who
Okay.
to date. So, I now it's very common for, African American women to date anything and everything. But back in the day, so I was in London around 2010,
Okay.
2016. So there wasn't a lot of interracial dating back then, and here in the States. So a lot of Black women were still, kind of primarily dating the brothers. So
That's
when I
true.
moved over, I wanted to be open to dating whomever. And so I was. And to my surprise, a lot of the men were open to dating me. So, that was good.
Ooh la la.
And I really enjoyed it. One of the things that I really enjoyed it. And one of the things that I found in this process was learning a lot about the different cultures that I had no knowledge about before. And that was, just hearing their experience in London. Again, the US is very race based. And
That's
so
true.
in the UK, it's more about, where you come from, what country. And when you're dating, you get to see all of those layers
Ah,
in comparison to dating in the States, where it's like, oh, you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic, you're Asian, lump them all together. And it's like, well, no, there are so many differences even within that racial group that make each individual ethnicity or nationality special and different and unique. And I think
hmm.
that's one of the disservices that we have in America in terms of just categorizing people. They're so big, broad, and
Yeah.
general. Where in the UK, I felt like it was more, it tended to be more geographic. And so you date someone and it's not, oh, they're white, they're black, or they're this or that. It's like, oh, this is where they're from, and then they can give you a bit of a history lesson about where
Okay.
they're from. And some people's journeys to even how they got to London was fascinating. But one of the things that it also taught me is that every group is different. Every group has had their own struggles, and how they fit in with the greater society is not always as black and white as you may think. We're always looking at, obviously, through our own lens, but there's so many shared experiences there, and how you can relate and connect to other people. And I just found it to be quite refreshing in hearing people and seeing how we connect and how we could relate to each other. Some things people just get, and you're like, wow, but you're from like Eastern Europe, but you're from like Poland. How do you identify with me? Or you're from like Bangladesh. Like,
Okay.
how do you understand like my kind of struggle? But you kind of dig deeper, and you realize that even as an African American female, my experience in my country can be very similar to another culture or another tribe or another ethnic group in their country. So not to ramble too much about that, but that was one of the things that the main takeaways that I had from dating as an African American in London. And another thing I think was because the African American experience in America is quite publicized. Where there's police brutality, that was really big. In certain periods of time when I lived in London, so that made international news. And so I think that a lot of these ethnic groups could relate, and it allowed them to be more open about their own struggles and their experience, because they saw kind of what I was coming from. So yeah, not to go too much on that point, but yeah, that's just that. And experience as being an African American in London, I think my key kind of takeaway.
Okay. Like she said, she did a little rambling there, but my takeaway from what she just said was like the dating pool is wide. It has a variety, and it was a good experience to dabble in. She wasn't judged because she was an African American. She as seems as if she ooh la la in the in the interracial couple where put it this way, the white guys weren't afraid to step to her, which is pretty cool experience for her. And I think that's pretty cool. I don't think being African American, there should be an issue with you dating outside of your race. I really don't see that. As for me, I think when you look at it, when you see interracial couples, it doesn't matter what ethnicity you're from either. Love is love. That's how I see it. And if you get along and you respect each other, then why not give it a try? Let's continue, baby.
On this video for you guys would be, you know, being an African American outside of the US is a totally different experience. One that I think every African American should actually experience, that,
Okay.
and also going to the continent of Africa for a period of time. And, living in the US, I think there is this kind of energy in the air. Like I said, it's very race based, and there's a hierarchy that along with that race based system.
You can say
And
that
once you
again.
step out of your comfort zone, and once you step out of this kind of
Bubble.
environment that has been created just to make a lot of African Americans feel less than, you get this sense of confidence and pride, and it changes the way you view yourself. It changes the way you view the world and other people. And I came back to the US and I was so confident, and I still am, and I'm okay with being the only Black in any situation.
Nice.
And staying true to myself as well, and being me. And I think that's the most important thing is just loving yourself, loving where you come from, loving your own culture, your uniqueness, and know that you have something special to contribute.
Yep.
And once you kind of get out of this system that we're in and just experience it in a different way, experience being Black in a different way, you will it's mind blowing. And even having conversations with other African Americans outside the US, and they had similar experiences. Some of them are like, I'm never going back. And I don't blame them, because one of the things that you want to experience as being not just an African American, but just a human as well. But I think because of the unique experience of being an African American, you want to be seen for who you are. You want to be judged for who you are, not the color of your skin, not the fact that you are Black or anything like that. You want to be judge me for me, like have a conversation with me, not understand how I think, but see how I think, see how I treat other people, and then judge me. Don't judge me based on the media or music that portrays my people in a certain way. And I will say, the media that we put out as African Americans and that we allow to be put out, it doesn't depict us in a very positive way.
It doesn't at all.
And so for a lot of people, their first impressions of who we are is based on the media. And it's so obvious when you go to different places and you hear music bumping, and it's African Americans that are producing this music, and it's not positive, and the things that they're talking about are very derogatory. And people are hearing that before they even get to know an African American, so that already puts a preconceived notion of how a group of people are. Sure. And I'm not excusing, some of the racism or, the prejudice that African Americans or Black people face, but then some of that we can control as well, and control the way that our image that we actually put out. So yeah, I won't talk too much about that, but yeah, that was a key takeaway. Definitely travel outside the US. I recommend it 1,000%. Again, not everywhere in the world is going to accept you. Not everywhere in our own country accepts us, but I think there's a lot of positivity out there, and it will do you some good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my perspective, my experience being an African American in London. Again, subscribe if you want to see more videos.
Okay, guys. So I see. Okay, I see where she's coming from, and I get what she's saying. Like, listen, I had a beautiful experience living in London as an African American, pertaining to meeting other people, having conversation, not seen as, you know, not seen negatively, but spoken to with respect. And so one of the downfall, like she said she had, was pertaining to meeting other black Brits. That's that it can get a little uncomfortable because you know they need to know the fine print of where you're from and as how it relates to you as an African American. I can see that a lot of times when people ask me where you're from, I'm like, okay, from the Caribbean. Oh, so what ethnic group you're from? Okay, what part do you know? What part if you're African American African descent? Which part of Africa is like? They want the fine details, and a lot of people don't have that. You understand? A lot of people don't know that. And then, as pertaining to the experience overall for her is great. Um, Listen, I've been diving into to a lot of videos from the UK, and I'm loving it so far. So, with that said, it's your island girl, and I'm running out of here. Don't forget to wrap back, relax, and continue to enjoy your lives. I kind of appreciate what she said about being comfortable in your own skin. It doesn't matter where you are. I like that. I like that because a lot of us aren't. Um, Step outside of the US, step outside of where you're from, and explore the world and experience it for yourself. You understand? Um, that's good advice because I'm on board with that. Love you guys. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, go in the comment section. Tell me what you'd like me to react to next. Catch you guys in another one. Be safe, be good, be kind. Bye.